Good afternoon, boys and girls. We're working on drop-in fraction unit for Common Core. And some of the terms that you're going to need to know for the unit are unit fraction, area model, and decomposing. And we're going to go through each of these terms one by one, and then we'll go through a process at the end to show all of these terms in one page. So the first one we have is a unit fraction. And I have 1/6 on the board. 1/6 is a unit fraction. The unit fraction must have a 1 in the numerator spot, and it will have a 6 in the denominator spot. And we can add unit fractions to get a whole number or to get any other fraction. So anytime we look at unit fraction, it would be a number or a fraction such as 1/6. 1/2 is also a unit fraction. 1/3 is a unit fraction. 1/4 is a unit fraction. And what they all have in common is they have a 1 in the numerator spot. And we'll circle the numerator to help remind you of which place that is. So if I were to take the sum of unit fractions, I could take 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6. And this is going to equal 5/6. And when we have 5/6, that is a fraction, which we used unit fractions of 1/6 added together to get to. So the next way that we can show 5/6 is we can use an area model. An area model is the same thing that we usually call a picture. A number line is going to stay the same as well. So if I'm using an area model, I can take a rectangle, I can split it into 6 equal boxes, and to represent 5/6 with an area model, I would shade in 5 of the 6 boxes to represent 5/6 as an area model. Next, we can take a number line. It starts at 0 and it ends at 1, which is also 6/6. And I can fill in the number line with 1/6 as our unit fraction, and then we're going to increase by our unit fraction to 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, and 5/6. And if I'm going to represent 5/6 on the number line, I'm going to fill it in, and this area here is our 5/6. So that's how we found 5/6 using a number line and our area model, which is just another way to represent 5/6. The next thing we're going to look at is decomposing. Decompose means to break down. So we're going to come up with different ways to break down 5/6. The very first way that you should always decompose a fraction is using the sum of the unit fraction. So if I take the sum of the unit fraction and I write an equation, I would have the same as what I showed you earlier with 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6, and that equals 5/6. That is decomposing or breaking down our fraction 5/6 by using a unit fraction. We can break down or decompose our fraction in several other ways as well. One of the ways I could decompose 5/6 is to take 2/6 plus 3/6, and that equals 5/6. I could also decompose and say 5/6 equals 1/6 plus 4/6. These are several ways that I can decompose or break down the fraction 5/6. This is another way to represent 5/6 as a fraction. The very last thing we're going to do is we're going to look at many ways to represent 5/6 as a fraction. And we're just going to take all of our strategies from before, and we're going to take 5/6 and we're going to split it up, and we're going to decompose it in one corner, and we're going to use the area model in another corner. And in later units, we will fill in the two corners that are not being used at this time. So as we move forward, we'll begin to fill those in. So again, if I put 5/6 in the center of my paper and I'm asked to decompose it, the very first thing that I would do is I would decompose using unit fractions. I can also decompose it just as we did earlier using 2/6 plus 3/6, or I could also go ahead and do 2/6 plus 2/6 plus 1/6. That's another way to decompose 5/6. Again, I can show an area model using a rectangle, and that's 5/6. I could also use an area model to where I took two-sixths plus 3/6 and added those together and got 5/6 as well. That's just another way to show area model. Tonight for homework, I would like for you in your math journal to take the fraction 3/4, and I would like for you to draw an area model as well as I would like for you to decompose the fraction in 3 different ways.